Okay, I'm going to show you how we do the clear water slides. So this is the water slides that I get. I get them on Amazon. They are $13 for a pack of 20. This is what it looks like. Out of the package, you're going to do the shinier side. That's the side you're going to print it on. So this is what it's going to look like in Design Space. So the image that I want to print is the crayons. I put the name in there myself. So in order to do that, you're going to come over here. Let me undo what I did first so that you can see it. So you're gonna take your name in whatever font you want. You're gonna center it where you need it. You're gonna select the entire image, come over here, and you're going to attach, and then you're going to make sure it's still selected, and you are going to flatten. And once you do that, this entire image now is going to print on your water slide instead of having to do a vinyl for the name. So it's all going to be a part of the water slide. Now I'm doing a clear water slide. So there's a little trick you can do with the clears. I'm gonna hit make it, and I am going to mirror my image as if I was using iron-on vinyl. This is something you can do only with your clear water slides, and this is also something you can do with tattoo tumblers. You cannot do this with a white water slide because your backing will obviously be white. So you can do it the other way too. You don't have to mirror it, but it's a lot easier to mirror. So I just hit my mirror. I hit continue down at the bottom. When I send to printer, make sure that your bleed is turned off. You do not want the bleed turned on, or it's going to make your image be very, like, the colors will be very bled. It will not be a good image. You hit print. Mine is going to have an error because I already tried printing and I didn't have any paper in there, so I'm going to cancel that cut and do this one. So let's hope that that prints it. So while we're waiting for that to print, you are going to seal your water slide with this clear sealant. You're going to do it 3 times. So while that is printing, if I can get it to print. Oops, let's see. I tried doing another water slide and I didn't have any paper in my printer, so then it kind of went crazy on me. And now I think it's mad that I'm trying to print something else. Okay, now it might work. It's a new printer, so I'm still trying to get used to it. Okay, so I'm printing the image and I made sure I turned my bleed off. And it only printed half. So I'm gonna send it to my printer again. I hope this time it works. Okay, let's see if it works this time. So sometimes your printer wants to not like you and waste some of your water slide. Most of the time that does not happen. I don't know why it did that. Let's see if it prints out the right way, which it did. So that's what it's gonna look like. Now to you, it looks normal, but actually it's mirrored. So since this is a clear water slide, I'm going to just cut off the section that has the box because I'm going to save this because I can use this again. You can do the same thing for white, but I would suggest doing it after you cut with your Cricut. I definitely got those wet and I should not have. So this is what I'm left with. I'm gonna seal this 3 times with my clear sealant spray. I do this in the house, probably shouldn't, but it's okay. So not very much, just a little bit to get it wet, and I'm going to speed up the process with my heat gun. It'll just help it dry faster. Usually I don't do this part, but since I'm doing it for the video, I will. And then you just want to make sure it's dry just by like tapping it. Doesn't want to be sticky still. You just want to make sure you do it 3 times. And if you've done it and you can't remember if you did 3 times, go again. Too much will not hurt it, but too little will. So I'm going to let this dry. Usually it only takes about 5 minutes in between each spray. So usually I'm just doing something else while I'm waiting for them to dry. But if I am in a hurry, I do use my heat gun, and it does help. I have cat hair on my water slide, so I'm gonna try to get that off before I stick it on there. All right, so it just needs one more seal. It's a little sticky still. You can hear my printer in the background still freaking out that it's trying to print again and I'm not letting it. But for some reason it won't cancel my print. Okay, one more. We're gonna let this one dry while I continue to try to cancel this print, and it will not do it. I don't know why. All right. So we'll let this dry a little bit more. So while I'm waiting for this to dry, I use my silicone brush I got from Dollar Tree. You can also get them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. They're like $3.99 versus $1. I have a few of them because they come in handy. So make sure that there's no hairs in there. Still a little wet. All right, so if my image was not mirrored, I would put the image on the same way that I would a regular whitewater slide. I would put it on this way and slide it down. Since I have my image mirrored and it is a clear water slide, I'm gonna put the image on the cup and I'm gonna slide it down that way. Instead of sliding the paper underneath the cup, I'm just gonna slide the paper off the cup. And it is so much easier. You can do clear whitewater slides or clear water slides on darker cups, just use white vinyl underneath of them. That's why I always say use clear water slides versus white water slides, because they are so much easier to work with. Now for cutting this, if it was a whitewater slide, I'd want it to be perfect because in between all of these areas you would see the white. But since this is clear, all I do is I cut around my image. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't really matter how much white is left over behind it because it will be clear. Just try to make sure that if there's any fuzzies or if there's any cat hairs like I have problems with under it, you try to get those off because they will be stuck under it. I have a little piece of glitter that doesn't want to come off. Glitter is the devil. There we go. There. All right. So it's all dry. It's a little sticky, but it's okay. All dry. Cut it around. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to take this. Let's see if I can show you my table here. So I'm going to take my water slide and I'm just going to put it inside my little container of water that I have that I always leave at my desk. I'm just going to stick it in there, and it's probably going to stay in there for maybe 30 to 40 seconds. So on this cup, I have my son's handwriting on this side because this is for his teacher. So I'm going to do my best guess on judgment of where I need this to be so that it is centered. I'm going to try to put it on my tumbler holder and show you guys, but I'm not sure how well this is gonna work, so bear with me for just a second to try to set it up. Because I want you to be able to see where I'm doing it. Okay, so I'm just gonna look where the words are. It's gonna look a little off for you guys. I'm gonna look where the words are, and I'm gonna try to just flip it completely around so that this side this is exactly where I want my image to be. So for this, you're gonna wet your area. Clear water slides are so easy. It's gonna be such a difference from my last video with my white water slides. So in my bucket of water, I'm just gonna take out my water slide and I'm gonna check it. So in order to check it, you're just gonna slide it just like you would with your white water slides, and you're just gonna make sure that it's moving. As long as it's moving, it's ready to go. So since it's mirrored, if it wasn't mirrored, I'd place it on like this and I'd pull the white backing under it. Since it is mirrored, all I have to do is place it on like this. Make sure that it's pretty close to where you want it, which it is. I'm going to take this and slide it off. As long as your cup is wet, they move really nicely. Slide it off. Take my silicone applicator, get it wet, and just squeegee out the rest of the water that's underneath of the crayons. Fix any wrinkles, and then you just want to look at it, make sure that there is no wrinkles up in your images. For example, there is wrinkles in my crayons, so that I want to fix those. Hey, if you're gonna go outside, you need to turn off your iPad, plug it in. And you need socks on, please.
I already got socks.
Okay. And that is how easy doing a clear water slide is compared to the white water slides. There's the back, the front, and it is beautiful. Now, if I did need to move this around, it'd be really easy to do so as long as the cup stays wet. If you get a wet paper towel, you can see how easy it is to move these around. As long as the cup stays wet, you are pretty much able to move it however you need to and refix any problem spots that you have. Make sure that all the wrinkles are out. Make sure that it's exactly how you want it. And then you let this completely dry. I let it dry on the fast end if I really need to get it done quickly. If I've squeegeed out all of the water and I put a cloth over it to like pat the cloth so it pats it dry, I can get it done in 15 minutes. I can put my next coat of epoxy on. But I would wait about a half hour to 45 minutes to allow it to completely dry if you're not in a crazy big hurry. But that is the easiest way to do it. So much easier than the white water slides.